The paint of the names of the 52 men on that memorial had been fading. Ironically, there is a tagline at the top of the memorial that says, "To forget them would be cruel to their spirit." And that's exactly what has happened. Because nothing has been done, I have had to now jump over the wrought iron fence to very carefully and painstakingly paint in the names of these men. With my recent attempts, I've been able to paint in the names of the 27 men on the left-hand side column. I've continued to paint and restore the names of the men on the Sequoia Memorial. Wish I didn't have to do this. I wish that the city had not neglected this. Following my past 2 comments at the city council meetings where I described my acts of community service to help restore the Sequoia World War II Memorial in Hillcrest Park, I was served a cease and desist letter from the city. I proudly stated my acts of community service that were a consequence of years and decades of negligence paid to this memorial, which respects 55 men who, younger than myself, lost their lives, Fullerton residents. If the city is more concerned about me jumping over a fence and taking a few hours to simply paint in some faded names, and you find that serious enough to warrant a cease and desist letter instead of just calling me and offering a conversation, that shows very poor faith on behalf of the city. This monument is the only of its kind in Southern California. It is created out of a 2,000-year-old piece of giant sequoia wood. There is nothing else in Southern California like this. This is the degradation from years of carpenter bees without intervention destroying and tunneling through this ancient piece of wood. Fullerton Tokertown has been spray painted on the back of this thing for nearly the past decade. Here are the names, some of the names that I painted in right here. And you can see the difference in legibility before and after. I don't find myself to be working out of some nature of self-righteousness. I give a damn about my community. The city wants to work with me, then I want to work with the city. But a cease and desist letter is not the way.
Public Works Director Bice is looking at a couple of proposals for ways to improve the memorial.
It's unfortunate and in my opinion, a little excessive to send a cease and desist to a young man who just was trying to advocate for this. I was not aware of it and I was not involved in it, and I certainly would not have accepted that particular avenue of action.
I certainly understand where staff was coming from, but I think the approach of having an attorney draft a letter as opposed to simply making a phone call to somebody who's been involved in various commissions in the past, I think was a little heavy-handed. So in the future, I think maybe a more personal approach will do, because I certainly understand the sentiment and I understand why it was necessary. I just disagree with the approach, and I think that's very off-putting, especially to people whose hearts are in the right places.